Magicians. Welcome to another Fiber Magic moment. I'm Opal Luna, the author of Fiber Magic, A Witch's Guide to Spellcasting with Crochet, Knotwork, and Weaving. And today we're going to talk a little bit about following crochet patterns. We've had some discussion in the Fiber Magic Coven on Facebook about following patterns, and I want to show you how in my book, Chapter 7 is dedicated to basic Fiber Magic crochet. It's got some how-tos and some suggestions, and I'll show you what they are. Right away, we talk about reading patterns. Okay. I say here, for the first half of my crochet life, I never used a pattern. I made hundreds of granny squares. I looked at the pictures and did my best. Sometimes I could reproduce the item, sometimes I could not. Crocheting by ear, so to speak, just like the way I sing. I'm sure a lot of you can understand where I'm coming from. But then I forced myself to learn to read crochet patterns, and a whole new world was opened up to me. It was like learning a new language. And now that I speak fluently, I can write my own patterns, and so can you. You can do the same thing. I still watch the videos, other people's videos. I want to learn new techniques, new ways of doing things. I've been crocheting for over 50 years, and I can still learn a thing or two, that's for sure. It's kind of like text speak. You know, when you text, you use abbreviations for your words. You do the same thing in crochet patterns, right? You got to break that code, and then it'll get a lot easier. And in the book, I break down chain stitch. This is how you'd see it in a pattern. Chain space means chain space. SL, ST, slip stitch, you see. And I've started putting these legends with all my patterns, just so it makes it easier to understand what skills you're going to need. There's a shell stitch and a picot, surface stitches, on and on, V-stitches, on and on. This way, you've got an idea of what you're getting yourself into. And you may say, well, I'm going to put that on a back burner, and I'm going to go watch a YouTube video about how to make a V-stitch first. You know, people learn in different ways. Some people like to watch someone else do it first. Sometimes seeing it in a book is all that you need. But it doesn't matter how you learn it. Just learn it. Okay, now the second part, the second secret to reading crochet patterns is understanding the designer's phrases. There's no universal way to write a crochet pattern. And I'm sure that's the same way for knitting or anything else. The artist is allowed to express themselves the way they see fit, and then some are easier to understand, or some you get and some you don't. So you got to break that particular artist code, and the more patterns you do by that person, the easier it becomes. But you know, there's some patterns that you might want to save for a little later down the road. So things to look for when you're looking for a beginner's pattern is that legend that shows you what stitches you're going to be using, and exactly all the materials that you need to gather up first, whether or not you're going to be working in the round or slip stitching at the end of each row, turning. These are things that is quite helpful to include in a beginner's pattern where a more experienced person would say, yeah, sure, I know you got to do that, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So I have an example here in my book of a phrase that I might use in a pattern. And in the brackets, I have to HDC, comma, HDC 4 times, and the rest of that is around. What I mean by that is that you put 2 half double crochet stitches in the first stitch and 1/2 double crochet stitch in the next 4 stitches, and repeat that pattern for the entire round. It'll say RD if it's round. It'll say ROW if it's row, back and forth. So you can see where crochet patterns would get quite lengthy if we didn't have those abbreviations. And that's why we use them, right? So let's look at a pattern. This pattern is popular. I think everybody who's ever bought my book has tried the witch's hat. Okay, so let's look at round 4. Round 4 in brackets says 2 HDC, comma, 1 HDC twice around, and it's got a 12. See? So I did up to round 3, and you can see we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have my 9 stitches in row 3, in round 3. Okay, so that's quite helpful. If you came to the end of the round and you only had 8 stitches, you could just make another one. Remember, you're working in yarn here. It's not stone or wood. It's flexible, it's stretchable, and especially when you're making poppets or anagurami, the way you stuff it will make all the difference in the shape. Go back to the YouTube video on making the snakes, right? The snacks. Make a snack for your hat or your neck. Even in that video, I say decrease until you have 9 stitches. But if you want a little fatter snake, just decrease till you have 10 stitches. I look at patterns as a suggestion. Now, if I buy a fancy pattern, I'm going to do it exactly like the designer did, at least the first time, right? Get my money's worth. But then after that, the things I make may just be inspired by that pattern. Always give credit where credit is due, and you'll be fine. All right, let's do round 4. Now, in this particular pattern, it says right at the beginning that you mark your rounds as you go. Okay? And then you repeat the pattern between the brackets until you get back to your marker. Okay? So, I don't have a marker. Let's live dangerously. We're right at the beginning so we can count. So I'm going to do 2 half double crochets, and then I'm going to do 1 half double crochet in the next stitch. See? Oops. Then 2 more in this stitch, and then 1. 2 more in the next stitch, and then 1, and 2 more in the next stitch, and then 1. Now, here's the test. Let's see if I have 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh, I got 13. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Uh-oh, I got 13. Pull one out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There, now I have 12. And that wasn't the end of the world, was it? No, it wasn't. Okay. I was only supposed to do that 3 times, not 4 times, right? Hmm. Hmm. 9 plus 3 is 12. Okay. Well, now I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can I do it without a yarn barf? 2 more. 11. Working with 2 thick yarns is rough, right? 12. Okay. So now I've got 12 stitches around and I've completed row 5, round 5. 1 half double crochet in each stitch around, and I still have 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Beautiful. Comment below as to whether you think I made that mistake on purpose. No, don't. Just like and subscribe. Okay, so a different artist, or even myself sometimes, can use different phrases to mean the same thing. I wrote this pattern for my garden witch hat out of raffia, and you can see here, this is not in this book because it was done after this book, okay? I have what you'll need and the stitches that you'll use, right? And then on round 4, between the brackets it says 1 half double crochet twice, half double crochet increase. So half double crochet increase is another way you can say 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. You do between these two around, and you'll have 16 stitches. Now, in this pattern, it tells you right at the beginning that at the end of each round, join with a slip stitch, turn and chain 1. So you're going to do that every time. Go back the other way. That's what gives you this nice design on the hat. Okay. And it also tells you what side you should be working from, the inside of the hat or the outside of the hat. So this is good, useful information to start with, so you got that in mind. Logan's crying again. Logan always has to get in on these videos. So working inside the hat, round 1, 8 half double crochets in your second chain from hook, and then you're going to slip stitch, turn, chain 1, and you'll be working with the outside of the hat facing you, and you'll do 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. You'll still have 8. Slip stitch, turn, chain 1, because this is like an ongoing step right there. You're going to do that every time. You'll be working on the inside of the hat. You'll do 1 half double and then a half double crochet increase. That means you're going to put 2 in the next stitch. You do that around and you'll have 12 stitches. See? And the good thing about printing out your pattern is that you could use a sharp a highlighter, right? And highlight just between these so you can see it. You can see your pattern. And also, if you do it as you go, then you can see what round you're on. All right? Perfect. So that's a very basic overview of how to read a crochet pattern. After that, it's just practice, practice, practice. I worked for a man who used to say, practice makes permanent. Because nothing is perfect, right? So practice makes permanent. You can permanently work with any crochet pattern that you come across because you'll have the tools to break the code. I have faith in you. All right. So I hope you guys stay crafty, like and subscribe, and when you make something from a pattern, please share it with us on the Fiber Magic Craft Coven on Facebook. And if you post your make on Instagram, use the hashtag FiberMagic. There's over 500 entries using that hashtag now, and I just started it just a few years ago. People are picking up on it. All right? So thank you for listening. Thank you for playing with me. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Okay, Logan, I'm coming.